Welcome back, everybody. This is the Wrestling Figure Historian here to take a look at the history behind the figures. Once again, we are going to continue the Wal-Mart exclusive Flashback series basic line with the build of Finkel. Today, we have the $1 Million Man Ted Dibiase. This is actually, I believe, the first Dibiase figure. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments, but this might be the first Dibiase figure to be in his full entrance attire by Mattel. Now yes, we did get the entrance great version of Dibiase, but this time the entrance attire is not removable. This comes in his green and silver tuxedo attire. Like the other Walmart exclusive basic line, the packaging remains the same, with the image of Ted Dibiase on the side, the baby blue retro style WWE backdrop, and again the back with a preview to the Howard Finkel, which we may eventually build one day, and all the figures in the line with the respective parts. Yes, Ted Dibiase wore plenty of suits throughout his career, most notably the black and gold suit, but this tux actually was part of a rather obscure storyline that Ted Dibiase was involved in. More notably, his feud with the mighty Hercules. Well, let's take a little look at said feud. Now, everybody has a price for the $1 Million Man, and Ted Dibiase would try to prove that quote on plenty of occasions. Whether it be try to get a child to bounce a basketball 15 times, or make a young Rob Van Dam kiss his feet. Now in October of 1988, Mean Gene Okerlund would conduct an interview with the $1 Million Man Ted Dibiase, with Bobby the Brain Heenan and the mighty Hercules joining him for said interview. Now months prior to this interview, Ted Dibiase had made claims that he could buy anything. He could buy the WWE Championship. He could buy a giant. He could buy whatever he wants. This time, he was looking to buy his own personal slave. Now, everybody was wondering, what did he mean by that? Well, it turned out Bobby Heenan was the manager of the mighty Hercules, so he was under contract. Dibiase had bought said contract from Bobby the Brain Heenan, thus making Hercules his slave. Now, obviously, as you can tell, Hercules was not too happy to hear the news. And Hercules would confront Heenan on what had just happened and what he had just heard. However, he did not expect the attack of the $1 Million Man and Virgil behind his back. Hercules would eventually fight them off, but this would end up leading to a match for Hercules' freedom. However, it wasn't going to be against Ted Dibiase. Instead, it would be against Ted Dibiase's personal bodyguard, Virgil, as he felt that he did not need to dirty his hands touching a slave. This kind of turned out to be the undoing of Ted Dibiase's plan, as Hercules would actually go on to defeat Virgil, thus making him a free man. But unfortunately for Hercules, it would be the $1 Million Man who would have the last laugh in this feud. At the 1988 Survivor Series, in the main event, Ted Dibiase was the one to eliminate Hercules from the main event Survivor Series match, giving Ted Dibiase the sweet, sweet revenge he was looking for. Now it's time to take a look at the figure. Well guys, this is Ted Dibiase now out of the package. We did get a piece to continue to build a Finkel. This time, we're getting his torso. So, let's take that one out. Now, we do have to be very careful this time, because there is the ball joint for the neck. So we don't want to snap that. But this is Finkel's torso. And with the way I just said that, let's put this to the side, please. Let's skip that. Now here is Ted Dibiase. Normally, Like the other two videos that we had with Bob Orton and Sergeant Slaughter, I would use the matches and still shots from said matches to kind of find out if this figure is accurate or not. This is actually a little different because this, and plus one more figure in the series, is actually not based off of a match, kind of a callback to WWE's Hasbro line of the early 90s. And guess what? To compare it, we actually have said Ted DiBiase to go with it. So now let's take a look at the head. The head basically is a one-to-one re-representation of the Hasbro figure. Similar colored hair, similar colored beard, a very similar facial expression, and even if we compare it to the photo of the $1 Million Man, again, it's one-to-one. Mattel is really doing a great job with these head sculpts, and I really love it. Let's go to the attire itself. Now, the one thing I will say about Mattel's figure is, unfortunately, the jacket to $1 Million Man does not open up. I was taking a look at a lot of the ways he wore his tux. He never had a closed tux. The only time his tux quote-unquote looked closed was when he had the $1 Million title to go around the waist. And unfortunately, this figure does not come with said $1 Million title. Granted, it's not that big of a deal because plenty of other figures came with that $1 Million title. You could easily get it. Again, now I will admit the green on this figure is a little bit duller compared to the green on the Hasbro figures. Both figures actually are missing the minor details on the front and sides of the jacket, such as the minor silver lining on the cuffs of the arms, the silver lining on his pockets on the outside. It is missing that, but like I said, it's actually harkening back to this figure, not the actual attire that DiBiase wore. However, one big addition, which was like the original attire that DiBiase wore, was the $ on the back. Mattel did not forget to put that part on his figure, while Hasbro did. But other than that, he does come with his green bow tie, does have his silver lapel with the green $signs. So other than that, they got it perfect. Now again, because the suit jacket is closed, you do not see the silver cummerbund that DiBiase wore during that time. But if the jacket's closed, no foul, no harm, I guess. Down to the pants. Once again, simple green pants, simple silver stripe going down the pants, just like he wore in real life. So again, they got it perfect. And for the boots, they gave him his classic black wrestling boots. But taking a look at the figure itself, it looks like they gave him his regular black dress shoes. Either way, doesn't make a big deal because the pants cover it up. It's fine. I will admit, looking at this figure, it's gorgeous. I love it. It's classic $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. You can't go wrong with it. It does capture his 1988 look, and I will admit, looking at it, it's just great. I have no complaints. If I had to give this figure a rating, this would actually get a nice 5 out of 5. With them doing this figure, just like I said with the Slaughter, this might actually open up a few doors. Now, if you notice behind me, we did already get a Virgil that complements this figure rather well. Who knows? Maybe we might get a Mighty Hercules figure now. I know we haven't had one, so Mattel, you could get up on that. We are also getting, from that interview segment, the Bobby the Brain Heenan that wore that exact attire. So we're getting that as well. If they're gonna do more with this, I hope we get $1 Million Man in his classic black and gold attire. Maybe even his white and gold attire that he wore later on in his career. Or the first tux that he wore coming down, the black and purple. He has a variety of tuxes that Mattel could use. And with that, I hope Mattel could capitalize on that. But, with that said, this is the Wrestling Figure Historian, and that's my history behind the figure.